folks, good day to you one and all, and wow, hasn't iRacing changed since last week? Can you believe it? A completely different world that we find ourselves in. Just so many changes that have taken place, servers crashing, you name it, everything you can think of has happened in the last couple of hours. And well, we've eventually got ourselves in and on, and that's where we're going to be tonight. Next Gen Racing GT3 Season 5, round number 5, and we are presently in the qualifying session. It's taken us a bit of a time to get into that. Let's get our session state up there. So good evening to you one and all. This one is just at the end of a qualifying that we've just made it in time to be able to join you guys at home. So in a couple of secs from now, it will be the grid that's going to be coming up. And as soon as that grid comes up, let's hope that the iRacing problems have been sorted out as such, because wow, what a millennium that has been. And tonight's presentation coming to you from myself, Gary Gaza Fleming from Second Gear Productions. And we've got 24 drivers out there. We're just waiting for the grid to come up, and then we're going to have a good idea of exactly how this one's going to play itself out. So it's going to be gold class, silver class, and a bronze class that's going to be out there. And the gold class points at the moment is looking something like this. Kieran Smart from Stefan Vessels, Benjamin McCliskey, Benji B, Nick the Sharkman Cubans from Gareth Gaza. Oh, he's caught up a lot. He's caught up big time. And then the silver class is going to look something like this as we wait for our grids to come up. It's Jesse Payne Wilkins from Matthew Cheverton, Lawrence de Vliega, Jake Pitt, Tom J. Weston, and then Phil McDougall. That is your top boys in that one. Let's have a look at the bronze class. And that's going to be interesting to see how that one's going to play itself out as well. Season number 5, GT3, Alwyn Sykes. Oh, Alwyn and Marky Mark leading it all out. That looks pretty good. Yummy, yummy for these guys up top. Jordan Bibiot, he's closed up quite a bit from Wesley Lewin, Nigel Stock, and David Favo. That's the guys that are in there. And that is your 3 different classes. Where we're going to be coming to you from, it's going to be from... Oh, that one's changed its size slightly. So let's go back to the live there. All right, we've got the grid that's come up for us. Let's see what that grid looks like. That's what it looks like. Guthrie from Vest. Oh, Guthrie. Again, Guthrie is up front. Can you believe it? From Stefan Vessels and Benjamin McCliskey. That's the way they line up. So William Guthrie from Stefan Vessels. And then it's J.C. Wilkins from Mr. McCliskey himself, Benjamin. Then Gaza and Benetria. They are not in yet. Sean Skitter, Edmund Simpson, Kieran Smart. A lot of the guys battling to actually click in and on. Let's hope they're all going to be able to get in, and we'll be able to see everybody out there. Let's see if we can get that one lined up nice and neatly for you. That's what it looks like. There's, as the guys are standing, as we look from the blimp view. Just gonna have to do a little resize here because that's changed as well. So we'll see if we can get it sorted out for you as quick as we possibly can. And there we go. We've got it all sorted out as we go down into turn number 1. It's a Guthrie, William Guthrie, that leads them out. Wow, William is on a roll. Can you believe it? Stefan Wessels in there behind him. Then it is Benjamin McCliskey. Behind McCliskey is Gazans. Sean Skitter in the silver class. He leads out the silver class. That's something else. Sean Skitter from Kieran Smart. Then it's Jesse Wilkins is the next man coming through there. Underneath that is Ian Manners. Manners right up onto the back bumper of Jesse, and remember they're running second and third overall in that silver class. There you see them just piling through. Let's go back to the front end of the field. What a lovely drive so far. There you can see our front runners, William Guthrie, Stefan Wessels, Benjamin McCliskey in there behind him with the sister car is Gareth Gazza-Williams. Then it's Sean Skitter. Then the multicolored, that's Kieran Smart. Now remember, Kieran Smart has won more than just one or two races already. He's very good. Then the leader of the silver class, that is Jesse Wilkins. That's the multicolored car. Ian Manners is the second last of that group of cars. The one behind that, the green one, that is Phil McDougall. Then the man that's leading the bronze class, Alwyn Sykes, there he is, and he's leading the class from Jordan Bibiot, and Bibiot I think is in third position behind Marky Mark. So that's going to be a pretty interesting battle to see how that one plays itself out. Nick Clibbins finds himself a long way down. Let's get some intervals going there. We can see exactly who's where and what. And then let's go for the gaps between them. And there we go. So those intervals are going to show us just how close these guys are to one another. Ian McDougall is on the move. They side by side in that 9th position. It's McDougall. He's going to try and stick it up on the inside, backs out of it. But remember, that's Jesse Wilkins and Ian Manners that's in front of him. So that you see there. That is first, second, and the third in class. Amazing to see how close these guys can actually run to one another. The way that they do it is actually quite amazing, because this is a very good quality field that we have here. And I personally believe that little battle is going to carry on all night long. It's not going to come to an end very easily. And that man, sticks it up on the inside, backs completely out of it. The silver class battle is on. Just a little bit further back, it is Alwyn Sykes. Alwyn Sykes in the fastest of the Ferraris out there. He's in 10th position and leading the bronze class. He's actually got Alan McCain in there behind him. The next man in his class is, in fact, 2 cars back. That's Wesley Lewin. And there you see Wesley Lewin. That's the car that's in the middle of your screen. Nigel Stock in the yellow one. That's it, in there behind him. And it looks like Jesse Wilkins has gone into the pit lane. Wow. Nick Clibbins and Edwin Simpson and Jesse Wilkins is all into the pit lane. But the new kid on the block after last week is William Guthrie. He's ahead of Stefan Wessels. That is quite amazing. And, well, I don't know where he was the earlier part of the season, but he's doing it all right now. And looking back there, you can see there's our main contender. That's Stefan Wessels. Behind that with the 2 sister cars. That's Benji M and Gareth Gazza-Williams. The 2 cars that look exactly the same. Very difficult to see which one is which. There's Gazza. He's the second of the 2 next-gen colored cars. And then, well, he's best for a long time, Sean Skitter. Sean Skitter just 1.2 seconds off. And that's ahead of previous race winner, Kieran Smart. So Sean Skitter's obviously done serious amounts of practicing. There's no doubt about that. He's made sure that he's got it all right. And, well, so far, it looks like he's got it all good to go. There's no doubt about that. It's all there on circuit. So let's go back to the front end. There's William. Ooh, using the whole circuit and more. There comes Stefan Wessels in there behind him. Stefan's going to go for a look on the outside. He's going to have a look on the outside of a turn number 1. Can he stick it up there? Let's have a look at that track map. And there you can see there the leader goes in. Sharp right. almost a, well, pretty much a 90-degree left, almost a full 90 degrees, not far from it. Stefan Wessels has gone to the lead. Benjamin McCluskey in there behind them. Then just behind that, there is Gaza. Then Sean Skitter, not far off. Then the leader of the second in the silver class, that's Ian Manners. Then we've got Phil McDougall directly in there behind them. So that silver class battle is just as tight as what it is in the gold class. Let's have a look at the bronze class right now. And the bronze class is led out by no one other than Wesley Lewin. Wesley Lewin ahead there of Alwyn Sykes. I wonder how that passing maneuver actually happened. Well, that's how it happened. Wesley Lewin just stuck it up on the inside, over the curbstone, makes it all stick. That was a lovely little passing maneuver, that. So that's all looking good. Wesley Lewin, then the man that is leading the bronze class on points is Alwyn Sykes, and Alwyn Sykes finds himself behind the Crest Autos car. There it is. Now let's have a look at those bronze class points to see exactly how that one plays itself out. Alwyn Sykes from Mark from Jordan, and then Wesley Lewin. So Wesley Lewin is sitting pretty good right now. That's exactly where he wants to be as they work their way through. James Smaggersgale, he's made up a couple of positions. He's the second of the Audis out there. It is, remember, but that's a silver class car that is busy recovering his positions. So Stefan Wessels with William Guthrie in there behind him. There is Benji M in the Next Gen Racing Porsche. There's Gaza directly behind that. And then there comes Sean Skitter. That is the man that's leading the silver class. And there was a change up front. Benjamin McCluskey has made the passing maneuver. Let's see how that one played itself out. Yeah, just ran a little bit wide. Just a little bit wide did William Guthrie. And that is all that Benji M required. Stuck his nose up on the inside and made that one stick as well. So from the front end down, it's the gold class man, Stefan Wessels, as he works his way through that tight left-hander. Little short squirt, and then into the right hander. Just keeps on turning, keeps on turning, keeps on turning. Just doesn't want to come to an end. You get to the end of that and you've got another probably about 75 degrees corner after that. But McCluskey is not getting away from William Guthrie. Benji M is under pressure, and it is going to be this man that is going to be the biggest competition for him in this race. So they work their way down towards turn number 1. Look how close that is. Oh, he's going to have a look up, and then he's outlined. Do they make contact? No, they don't. That was very, very close. Side by side, Guthrie and McCluskey. Nothing much in it. Gaz is just a little bit too far back. Wessels is looking back and saying, what are you guys doing? You slowing one another down. You're giving it away to me. Guthrie recovers that position from Benji M. But is it going to stick for him? No, it's not, because now it's going to be Benji M that's going to take it a front of that little two-way tete-a-tete. There's my word for the day, tete-a-tete. A small, massive battle between second and third in the gold class. So let's go back to Gaza. What does he see? That's what he sees in front of him. William, then Benji M, and then there you see, around the corner goes Stefan Wessels. So he's pulled away from that one. Now, behind Gaza is not too much of a problem. Oh, look at that battle in front of him. He's got the best seat in the house. It's brilliant. William Guthrie has just held on there and said to Benji M, just like, slow down, buddy. This one's mine. Taking lots and lots of curbstone. Stays off the sausage curb. Gaza gets on the gas as quick as what he can. And the battle is on for the boys in front. Is he going to do a dive out? Is that going to be the best view? No, I think that's going to be the best view. Dives out, comes back. William Guthrie doing a brilliant, brilliant job. There's no doubt about it. Let's go back to the bronze class, and that will be Wesley Lewin that leads out, also in a Porsche. So Wesley Lewin, that's Stuart Wyness, the dark blue with the orange and white inlay. That's Stewie. Stuart Wyness, remember, is a gold class entry, so that's not a problem for him. He's not too worried about Stuart. What he's got to worry about is the man directly behind him. That man in the yellow and black, that's Nigel Stock. And Nigel Stock is a bronze class. That's Jake Pitt. That's in the silver class. That's just gone past him. So that man is a second overall in the bronze class. That's how close he is. Let's see, where's the other closest battles? Benji M. Benji M has not given up on William Guthrie. He's holding sway. Let's ride on board with Benji. Onto the back of William Guthrie. Let's bring up that battle box. Let's see what the gap is to Stefan Wessels. 1.85 from Guthrie to that orange mean machine that's in front of him. We're riding behind the Audi of William Guthrie, and the one that's in front, that is the Porsche of Stefan Wessels. And then, well, what does it look like behind him? That's what it looks like. Gareth Kaiser Williams, 1.1, a little bit further back as they work their way down into the first corner. And William Guthrie is doing a lovely job. Gaza not that far behind him. There comes the next man. That is Sean Skitter. And then we've got Ian Manners. Ian will be pretty okay, but there's one man that he needs to get to, and that is Sean Skitter. Let's have a quick look at that silver class points and see how that one's going to play itself out. So Sean Skitter is in fact, yeah, that's strange. He must be way down. He must be in 10th position, is Sean Skitter, to the best of my knowledge. Let's just see if we can recover the size of that inlay for you. We can get the whole thing in there. I'll bring that to you in a second. Yep, I was right now. I've got it there. There we go. Sean Scudder. So he is in 10th position with 66 points. Is a Sean Scudder. So he'll be pretty chuffed with that one, because now he's leading out the silver class, and that ahead of Ian Manners. Now Ian Manners has only got 52. He hasn't done all the rounds. He is 12th on the log as a whole. And then Jake Pitt, he is 4th on the log, also in the silver class. So that makes for some pretty interesting reading that we've got there. Let's go back to the front end of the field. 14 minutes, 9 laps into this race. And Wessels is going to go past Nick Clemens. And so he does. And yeah, it's not going well for Nick at all. Nick finds himself pretty much a lap down as he gets lapped at this stage of the fight. Kieran Smart that we lost out on as well. So there is Stefan Wessels. There is William Guthrie. The next man in behind him is Benji M. Then we got Gaza. Behind Gaza, the leader of the silver class, Sean Skitter. Then we've got Ian Manners, 6 seconds further back. Just behind him, he loves that Mercedes-Benz. He loves that green. That is Phil McDougall. Then we've got the recovering towards the front end of the field, the gold class man, Stuart Wyness. Then we've got the leader in the bronze class, that being Wesley Lewin. And Wesley Lewin will be quite happy with that, because he's 4th overall in the class. Wesley is 4 points behind Jordan Bibiot. He is a total of 20 behind Mark Sykes, and 39 behind Alwyn Sykes is Wesley Lewin. So he'll be pretty chuffed with that one. Jake Pitt is all over his back bumper. Jake wants a piece of him, but remember that's bronze class and silver class, so it's more for the bragging rights. You gotta love that livery on that Porsche, that black. Oh, lots of sparks as he climbs the curbstone out into the front main. 15 3/4 minutes, 10 laps already done of this 20 lap race. Jake Pitt, is he going to go for the dive? I don't think he's close enough. I don't think so. The silver class man with a bronze class driver that's in front of him. That just shows you how well Leslie is doing at this stage of the fight. There's Nigel just behind them. There's James Smaggersgale. There's Jordan Bibiot. There is Alwyn Sykes. And he's Alwyn Sykes. And the man directly in there behind him is Jesse Wilkins. Now, Alwyn Sykes leads out the points in his class, in the bronze class. And Jesse Wilkins, in fact, leads out the silver class. So the two class leaders finding themselves in the mid-pack, 14th and 15th position, and running nose to tail with their competition, a good bit of their competition in front of them. There's 1, 2, 3 bronze class cars ahead of Alwyn Sykes, and ahead of Jesse Wilkins I see 1, 2, 3, 4. So that makes Alwyn Sykes lying 5th in class right now. Hectic stuff, the way that this has played itself out. So let's go back to the front end of the field. Stefan Wessels is still doing the stuff. Alan McCain's had a crash. Let's see what happened to Alan McCain. So far, so good. Just a little bit too hard on the gas. Another man that had her off was Mr. Ulati, Alessandro Ulati. And he goes and parks it on the side of the... He actually had a crash before that. Let's see what the actual crash situation was. Comes down into the entrance of the corner. Turns in nicely. Tail end starts to step out. And he gets clipped. He gets clipped. That could have been Clevens, in fact, that actually clipped him there. So it looks like a fair amount of damage on that motor car. Let's see what happened a little bit earlier on to Nick Clevens. Nick the Shark Man, representing UK and Ireland. Guess why we call him the Shark Man? Yep, the tail end just comes around, and that takes him pretty much out of it. So back to the real world. What's actually happening out there? It's still all about Stefan Wessels that leads out, and pretty handsomely, because he's got a bit of a gap on Guthrie, who's got a bit of a gap on Benji M, and then Gaza directly in there behind them. They've now taken a bit of space out of Sean Skitter. There's Sean Skitter, and it looks like he is behind Nick Clevens, the other car that you saw in that shot. Let's just take a longer shot of that one. There you can see that's Nick Clevens that's ahead of him. But remember, that's going to be coming up to lap Nick Clevens, because Nick Clevens is down in 21st position at this stage of the fight. And, well, that was because of the accident that he had earlier on. And, well, Edwin Simpson has also just had an incident. Let's see what happened to Edwin. It shows him as having crashed. He comes out. That looks all fine. Cold tires. He stops. No, I think the computer thought that he had a crash, but he actually just stopped to let the leaders come through, and then he restarts it. So Edwin Simpson trying to do it all right. So Sean Skitter, the man that is leading out the silver class, he's got himself, 7 seconds back to Ian Manners. And then Ian Manners has got a little bit of a gap. One of the best drives for quite a long time for that man, Phil McDougall. He finds himself third in class. Stuart Wyness, as gold class man, has not been able to catch them. He's 7 seconds further back. Then the first of the Class B drivers directly behind that. That'd be Wesley Lewin, the silver class man of Jake Pitt, the bronze class, second in class, Crest Autosport, Nigel Stock. Then behind that is James Smagersgale. Wow, we've actually missed the end of that one. They came through so fast. Can you believe it? 21 minutes is up. It's Wessels from Guthrie, McCliskey, Gaza, Sean Skitter, Ian Manners, Phil McDougall, Stuart Wyness, Wesley Lewin, Jake Pitt, Nigel Stock, James Smagersgale, Jordan Bibiot, Jesse Wilkins, Alwyn Sykes, Mark Sykes, Alan McCain, and we wait for Ben Altria to come through. There he comes through now. Yeah, all these changes with the iRacing has caused chaos for us in the background, but we'll work our way through that. He comes through. Matthew Cheverton, the first time we've actually seen him. David Favo. And he's the last man that then comes across the line. It all just happens so fast. Well, let's have a look at those results and see what those results are going to look like. So there we go. Stefan Wessels from William Guthrie and Benjamin McCliskey. So that is your front end guys in the gold class. Now, the man that was leading going into tonight, and that just 2 points more than Stefan Wessels, was in fact Kieran Smart. Now remember, Kieran Smart dropped right out of it and ended up right at the back of the pack. So on provisional standings at this stage of the fight, that means that Stefan Wessels goes to the top. Benji M was on 144 as opposed to the 161. Benji comes through in third position. That might drop then Kieran down. It's going to be touch and go between him and Benji for second overall. Nick Klibbins in the 99 scores dismally on this one, unfortunately. And the man that's directly behind him, Gaza, Gareth Williams, also on 99, will now blast away from him on the points ladder because Gaza's picked up a fourth there, fourth in class, fourth overall. So that's pretty interesting stuff to see how that plays itself out. Now, the silver class, the man that won out there is, in fact, Sean Skitter, and that's the man that's lying 10th overall in the log with the leader, Jesse Payne Wilkins, on 148. So that's a massive climb for Sean Skitter. Ian Manners, that comes second, is lying on 52 points in 12th position as opposed to the 148 of Jesse Payne Wilkins. So that makes a massive big difference for the two of them at this stage of the fight. That's a big change up with the points for the silver class. And then Phil McDougall, let me see if I can pick him up. He was lying in 6th position going into this one. So not bad for him whatsoever. Let's have a look at that bronze class. Now the leading bronze class driver in this race was Wesley Lewin. Wesley was on 118 as opposed to the 122 of Jordan Bibiot. Jake Pitt is still also a long way back. He's in 10th position. And wow, that is also going to turn that one completely upside down. So for those of you that have just joined us, where are we? We are at Catalunya, and this is the GT3 round number 5 Next Gen Racing that you've been watching so far up until now. We're going to take a short break as they're going to get an opportunity to then go and reload the necessary placings, because it's going to be a total invert for the drivers, and as soon as that one comes up, we will bring that one up for you, and you can have a look, see exactly what the new grid is going to look like. So let's give us a couple of secs. We're going to do a bit of resizing and organizing in the background to alleviate the problems that we've picked up because of all the changes with the iRacing, and then we will bring that one through to you as soon as we can. Right, folks, we're back with you. They're busy with the warm-up session right now. We've just had our first 20-minute race, and now we are into the serious part of it. We're just about to go into our 1 hour race, and let's go and have a look at how the points were standing just before we started tonight's racing. Kieran Smart on 161, and he has had literally a DNF, so it just doesn't get any worse. From the brilliance of the previous meeting to now, all of a sudden, total solitude at the back end of the pack. Stefan Wessels comes up with a win. Benjamin McCliskey, as always, in the top 3 or 4. Nick Clibbins, Zorro, right to the back of the pack. Gareth, as always, up in the top 2, 3, 4. Stuart Wyness finds himself a little bit further down, but still better than Kieran and still better than Nick Clibbins. I didn't see Martin Hobson out there at all in this evening's race, so that 90 points will stay exactly the same. That is not going to change for him at all. So let's go one step further. Let's go and have a look, see how the silver class is looking. Jesse Wilkins, the man that has done a lovely job so far for the season, leading out from Matthew Cheverton. Now, there's another one. Matthew Cheverton had a terrible first 20-minute race. It just didn't work out for him. And in fact, we saw him right down at the back end of the pack. So, terrible. I never saw Lawrence Vlieger out there at all. Let me just check if he's maybe gotten in now. No, Lawrence Vlieger is in fact not in onto the server for this one either. So that's going to cost him. Jake Pitt, he did quite okay. Tom Weston, Phil McDougall, he's jumped up as well. Phil McDougall, he had a very good one. I didn't see James Hoerson, I didn't see Michael Seal. Sean Skitter, that's laying 10th going into tonight. He had a brilliant 20-minute race. That was all good for him. So that just gives you a bit of an idea of what's happening there in the silver class. And then let's have a look at the bronze class. Alvin from Marky Mark, Jordan Bibiot. Now there's another one, Jordan Bibiot. He didn't make it into the 20-minute race. Oh, there's Jordan there. I see Jordan is in with a Ferrari, so that's good. Wesley Lewin, he's in as well. He's come in with the Porsche, but he hasn't actually gone out on track at all. So from Nigel Stock, David Farber, Gabriel Papa Constantinou, he wasn't out on circuit either. Gabriel Yilmaz, I didn't see him. I didn't see Daniel Fritz either. Nope, I don't see him also either out there. So a good couple of guys that didn't make it out. You'll probably find that to a large extent is linked to the fact that there is just so many bits and pieces and changes that have taken place that a lot of the guys just can't get it sorted out and can't get in. And there's just, yeah, it's been chaos. But it's been necessary. There's no doubt about it. It has been necessary to make all these changes, and they've now brought in the whole winter scenario as well. So we've got rain races that is going to be coming up, or partial rain. Now, the nice thing about what is happening at the moment now is you can have a circuit that starts off dry, then it ends up that you get rain. It ends up that you get partial rain in certain areas. And then you can have a circuit where part of the track is dry and part of the track is wet, like Spa-Francorchamps, where you often had that kind of thing where it rains on the one part of the circuit. The Le Mans circuit, same thing. It rains in Nuremberg Ring. It rains on certain sections and other sections is dry. Now that's been built in as well. So with that's been built in, you're going to have just so much variety. And it is classic. If ever you get a chance in the next couple of days, go and have a look, see what it looks like in the rain. It is very well done. But now the guys have also got to learn the settings, because you've now got to, where you've got your crew chief that will determine uh, how much fuel you're putting in, if you are putting fuel in, if there's a tire change. Now, you've got to determine that tire change as well. Now, normally, you'd preset and you would know what's going to happen. But now you've got variable weather. How do you now get to the point where, do I go wet or do I go dry? And that's where the question comes in. So a lot of guys have been posting on social media, how does this now work? Because we never had this before. We don't understand how it works. Well, we're all learning together at the same time because we all don't know. There's just so much that has changed. We've just got to make our best that we can and make it all happen for you. So we're just giving the guys an opportunity to do their little practice. And as soon as they are finished with their practice section, we will be able to get down and dirty and go and see exactly who is going to be starting where. Now remember, it's going to be an inverted grid that they're going to be on as well. So that's going to turn things completely upside down. That means that Nick Klibbens in the gold class is in fact going to be finding himself in a situation where he's going to be starting at the front end of the field. That's going to turn things up big time. Now if you look at that, what an amazing circuit that is. Beautiful layout. Europcar, New Holland, Lekay, Alf, Seat, Reynolds, Repsol, Kempser, Blank, Sabadell. That's all the names that they've got up for the different corners there. But you don't often hear the people using the names of those corners as such. So we're not going to worry too much about the names of those corners. It's not like you're going to Le Calm and La Source and Varianti, Alta, and that kind of thing. That's just a completely different world. So let's just go with the racetrack the way that it is and enjoy it for these guys. 13 and a half minutes in. That means we've got 1.5 minutes, and then there will be a bit of a hold up, and then we will get to our grid. So while they do the last minute and a half, let's just say a massive big thanks to all of our sponsors that put their money where their mouth is and make it possible. Motorsport UK, Douglas Motorsport, Benji Sim Photos, that's Benjamin McCluskey. Mark Sykes Designs, that's Marky Mark. Joyce Design, Higgins Motorsport, Sam Cases, there we go, Motorsport UK Esports recommended community. So William Guthrie, who in the practice finds himself the fastest man. Oh, just 11 hundredths, 1/10, 11 hundredths quicker than Stefan Wessels. So the 15-minute practice session is up. Computer will probably give the guys an opportunity just to get back to the pit area. Nope, cuts them off, says, cheers guys, have a nice day. And we wait for the grid to come up. And there is our grid. So, Benjamin McCluskey, Alan McCain at the front end of the pack. Mark Sykes and Kieran Smart, Ulati's in there as well. What a total turn-up. That's madness. Look at this. Kieran Smart in 4th position and Benjamin McCluskey in the lead there. Nick Klibbens just behind Gaza as well. Let's just have a little bit further down. You can have a look there. Guthrie finds himself down in 12th position. Phil McDougall that had a lovely race in the silver class. Stuart Wyness down in 15. Matthew Cheverton, wow, long way down. Sean Skitter that had a brilliant race. Vessels way down. Alwyn Sykes and Wesley Lewin right at the back of the pack. In fact, the back 5 is all South African, and of the back 8, 6 of the back 8 is the South African contingency. So let's go to the race proper. Here we go. It's just about time to come off the line. And off we go. It's Kieran Smart on the outside. Remember, Kieran Smart just a week ago was the man right up front. Nick Clibbons right in there behind him. They work their way down to turn number 1. It's Stefan Wessels. He's got Stuart Wyness. That's the dark blue. It's coming up there. And then Benjamin McCluskey. Stuart Wyness, wow, passes Benji M and moves up 1 position. Matthew Cheverton, that's in there behind. Now, Matt didn't have a good round number 1. Alan McCain closing up directly behind him. Here comes Jesse Wilkins. Jesse Wilkins sticks it up on that inside line. They're going to go side by side down into the next corner. Let's get a track map up, and you can have a look, see at that. Let's get a battle box up there as well. Jesse Wilkins still side by side. Everybody making sure that they don't make any contact whatsoever. Just behind that is Jake Pitt. Everybody gets through. Edwin Simpson directly in there behind him. We didn't see him in the Sav Speed 18 entry. And then behind that is Mr. Skitter himself, Sean Skitter. Ben Altria just behind that. The closest battle right now is William Guthrie in there behind Jesse Wilkins. Now keep in mind that's a gold class behind a silver class, and then he's got another gold class in front of him. So William Guthrie is going to have to move it up because there's 2 big hitters at the front end of the field. Kieran Smart. Now somehow Kieran is either right at the front or right at the back. There doesn't seem to be anything other than that for this man, Kieran Smart. When it's good, it's brilliant. When it's off, it's disastrous. It just doesn't work. Nick Clibbons, same thing. Nick Clibbons, either right at the front or right at the back. Stefan Wessels has a look up on that inside line. Backs out of it. Stuart Wyness just behind them. Stuart has got past Benji M and stays ahead of Benji M. And then the first of the silver class, it's Matt Cheverton that finds himself at the head of that silver class battle. Now, Cheverton is the man that's second overall on the log before the first race that we had today. And Jesse Wilkins is in fact the man that's on the top end of the log. So not only is Matthew Cheverton and Jesse Wilkins fighting it out that close to one another on the track, they are in fact that close to one another in the points. Only 15 points between them. They lie respectively first and second in class. Then the next man through behind that, there he is, and he's stuck there behind Alan McCain, and that is Jake Pitt. And Jake Pitt is 4th overall in the class. So Lawrence Vlieger, who's not out on circuit tonight, is going to lose out pretty badly. There's no doubt about it. Edwin Simpson has now moved up a position as well. He's got himself ahead of Ben Altria, who drops 1 position back. And then behind Ben Altria, only there to be found a Sean Skitter. And then remember Phil McDougall that did so well in race number 1, flashing the light saying, come on, I need to get past you. We're 2 completely different racing styles that we've got here, and flashing those headlights. Benjamin McCluskey's onto the back of a Stuart Wyness. So let's see the gains and losses. How has this one played itself out so far? Stefan Wessels 6 positions up on the gains and losses. That is the biggest gain. The biggest loss is Gaza. Gaza's right out of it. Let's see if we can maybe pick up exactly what happened to Gaza. Jordan Bibiot, I see he had an accident as well. And I don't know what's happened to Gaza, because I don't see an accident for him. There was the Jordan Bibiot. Let's see what happened with Jordan. Wow, that got kind of hectic. There was Jordan Bibiot that got dumped out of that. And eventually you can see he gets it going. Alejandro Ulati, he also had an incident representing the UK and Ireland. Just gets the tail. Wow, what a catch. Okay, it went. He caught it initially brilliantly. Now, which way do you go? You got to turn it right around. You can't see what's coming. You just got to hope for the best and get it going, and that is exactly what he did. So I'm not sure what exactly has happened to our main man, Gaza. He's down 19 positions, and I cannot see an incident where he's been involved. I know he's been in the pit lane. We've seen some footage of that. There he is coming out of the pits. So I just don't see. I see when he entered the pits. Oh, you know what? I know what has happened there. He has gone for an early pit stop. That is why he finds himself so far down. That explains that. So let's have a look at that side of it. We've seen the gains and losses. Let's have a look at the pit stops. And let's see if we can pick it up. No, it doesn't even show us a pit stop either. Well, no. Well, he's been in and out of the pits. Either way, he has been in and out of the pits. We've seen footage of that. Let's go back to the front end of the field. And this man that sometimes it goes brilliantly, sometimes it just does not go. Well, tonight it's going brilliantly because he leads them out. Kieran Smart, 0.3 of a second. Right on his back bumper is Stefan Wessels. The Shockman, Nick Clibbins, with Benji M directly in there behind him. Stuart Wyness has come to the party in this 1 hour race. Lap number 4, 6 3/4 minutes of the hour. And Stuart's come to the party. He's up into 5th in the gold class. And he's got no worries from behind because the next man is in fact Matt Cheverton. And Cheverton is leading Wilkins. That's the silver class guys. And then after Adam McCain, there is Jake Pitt behind that as well. So Matthew Cheverton and Jesse Wilkins, the two of them, the top boys in the class. And Matthew Cheverton has a look up on the inside. Tries to make that one stick. They're starting to rub one another pretty heavy. That is a little bit loud. Cheverton on the right-hand side. Wilkins on the left. Oh, Cheverton makes the error. He ran it slightly wider. A nose end just drifted away and he spun it around. And that takes Matthew Cheverton quite a long way back. It takes him, in fact, right out of it. But while that's on the go, Stefan Wessels is starting to make his presence known as he closes up onto the back end of a Kieran Smart. Now, Kieran didn't get hardly any points, if anything, for race number 1. And Wessels ended up in 2nd position. So he's got a whole bunch of points for today's effort already. So he'll be quite chuffed to be where he is. The next fight behind that is, in fact, Benji M. That's all over the back of the Sharkman, Nick Clibbins. Well, let's change that. That goes past Nick Clibbins and takes over that position. But the man on the move right now is that man, Stuart Wyness. Let's see how many positions has he actually gained. Stuart Wyness. Oh, he's one down. Okay, all right. Remember, he started in 4th, so he's dropped down to 5th, but he's right there where it counts. He is right there, just behind them. The next car is the silver class leader. That is Jesse Wilkins. And then the next silver class car behind that is 2 cars further back, and that is that man over there. That is Jake Pitt from Edwin Simpson. Now, Simpson was nowhere to be seen in the first race in the silver class or in general. And Phil McDougall, not that far behind. We know his colors. And then Sean Skitter in the 20 car. That's all silver class. Now, Ian Manners has got a long way to go. He's gone 4 up, but Sean Skitter's gone from behind him to in front of him. And David Farvo has gone 6 positions up already. So Manners is on his way, but Sean Skitter already ahead of Ian. Let's have a look at the last lap times that they put up. Ian Manners on a 44, Sean on a 43.1. So 9/10 a second. You look at the boys up front. Stefan Wessels, 42.0 for Smart, 42.0 for the man directly behind. Well, it can't be anything else because they were within a half a car of one another, and they still within a half a car of one another. Benji M, he did a 42.1. He's just a little bit less than a tenth of 0.7 behind that is in fact Nick Klibbens. That's why you can see there's a bit of a gap back to Nick Klibbens. But Nick Klibbens has been closed down by Stuart Wyness by just a little bit. That is 4/10 of a second. And there is a Stuart Wyness. That is your front five in the gold class. Let's ride on board with that man and just see what it looks like to follow through behind Nick the Sharkman Klibbens. Third gear as they work their way through. Now that long right-hander just keeps on coming, keeps on coming, keeps on coming. You just get it on the gas, go through underneath the bridge, and well, he's got a lot of traffic in front of him. Stuart Wyness with Nick Klibbens and Benjamin McCliskey. That's kind of a hectic amount of traffic. That's going to slow him up, and that's going to make this lap. Oopsie! Gets it completely sideways. The Sharkman, Nick Klibbens, gets the tail end out, recovers it pretty decently, and now finds himself behind Stuart Wyness. Oh, Nick's starting to get a little bit ruffled with this one. I think the pace has been a little bit hot. But the next car behind him is in fact Jesse Wilkins, 4 seconds further back behind. You might see there, you can see right in the background he comes into the shot. So yeah, he's got no pressure from behind, but Stuart Wyness with Nick Klibbens directly behind him, and then directly in front of him is Benji M from Stefan, and then in front of them is Kieran Smart. So looks like once Kieran gets to the front, you don't catch him very easily. He up dusts and he disappears. The silver class, 6 positions up, is Jesse Wilkins. And that with Alan McCain, a gold class rider between himself and that man, Jake Pitt. Jake Pitt also 6 positions up. And then right in there, Edwin Simpson's putting the pressure on. He started in 9th. He is still in a 9th position. And then Phil McDougall just off the back end, also in the silver class. And then behind him, the man that did so well in race number 1. Also, it's like all or nothing. It's like a bad accelerator cable. It's either win or dust it. There's nothing in between for Sean Skitter. And what he still finds himself ahead of Ian Manners. And Ian Manners has actually closed up quite a bit on the last lap. A 142.6, a 143.8. Wow! That's 1.2 seconds. So Manners is closing up pretty well. There you can actually see the gap. That's the man he's chasing. Ian Manners in the silver class. In 6th position. Skitter in 5th in class. And Guthrie is behind them. He was only a 10th quicker, but he's 3.8 seconds, William Guthrie. So having had a brilliant sprint race, now desperate times, desperate measures. Is that because of pit stops? Well, it's only Matthew Shevington, James Smaggersgale and Wesley Levin that shows having pit stops, but I think that could be slightly incorrect. I'm not 100% convinced that that is the real deal with that one. I think it could be just a little bit different to that. So let's go to the front end of the field. We are 14 minutes, almost a quarter of the way into this race, and that man leads them out. It's Kieran Smart. Maybe we can get them all in almost the same shot, depending on where our next gen blimp is. It's pretty much right on top of them. So there's Kieran Smart. There's the man behind him, Stefan Wessels. How far's Benji? Oh, Benji's right there. What's the betting? Stuart's right behind him. Just a little bit off. Stuart Wyness, 1.7 seconds further back. And then the next man behind that is in fact going to be Nick Clibbins that works his way through. That's the top 5, and that is your gold class. Then behind that there is Jesse Wilkins. Jesse's doing very, very well. If you think the silver class for Jesse Wilkins, the way that they went into this one on 148 as opposed to Matthew Cheverton and Lawrence, that's not out there at all today. So it's looking very good for Jesse Payne Wilkins, or Jesse Wilkins as he's got it on the screen there, leading out, and he's got 4 seconds on Jake, which will work quite fine. There's Jake coming out of the corner, and Jake's a bit more worried about what's happening directly behind him right now, I think, than what's in front of him, because there is Simpson, there is McDougall, and let's go right on board with McDougall. See how that one's going to... Oh, Ian Manners has had an accident. Can you believe it? Ian Manners, let's see what happened to him. That looks all quite under control, and the back end starts stepping away. He held on to it pretty well, but you see, now you've got to wait for the traffic to come through, and that's what hurts. Gets himself off almost into the sand pit, stays right out of the way for all of the guys coming through. Does the gentlemanly thing, doesn't affect anybody else's race, and that's why Ian Manners has now dropped down. Even behind Gaza, he's dropped down into that 19th position, has Ian Manners, and that is a bit disastrous for him, because there's a whole bunch of silver class cars that's in front of him. And well, look, Ian Manners is 12th overall in the log, so it's not like he's fighting. Well, he's fighting to get into the top 10, but remember, not everybody gets to ride every single race. Keep an eye on this one. But there's another battle up front. Keep an eye on the left-hand top of your screen. Benjamin McCliskey and Stefan Wessels. That one's also very, very close for McDougall. Following through on Edwin Simpson and Jake Pitt. Of those guys, Jake Pitt is the man that is the highest up on the points. Staying ahead there of Edwin Simpson. Amazing how things change from one circuit to another. One day you're the king and one day you're the pawn, and it changes at the drop of a hat. You never know which way it's going to go at all. I think we need to go and have a look. Okay, lovely onboard that we've got here, Edwin Simpson and Jake. I think we're going to have to stick with this one. Nope, that's not going to be a change-up of positions there using that sausage curve. I think that's going to stay the same. Let's go and see what it looks like from Benji M's point of view. They're even closer to one another. Benjamin from Stefan from Kieran. Kieran has... Oh, I've seen races. I hope that you guys have watched the whole season so far. Remember, this is round number 5 that we are busy with for the season. And there you can see it. Next Gen Racing, season number 5, round number 5 from Catalunya. That's where we are. And we're riding on board with Benji M, Benjamin McCliskey, gold class, top 3 on the log. Let's just see how that gold class log actually looks at the moment now. So Kieran from Vessel from Benjamin as they are, see, out on circuit. Kieran from Stefan from Benjamin. The order that they are on the log is the order that they find themselves back out there on circuit. And then Nick Clibbins is just one further back from that as well. So that means disaster for Gareth at this stage of the fight. Because Gaza is down in 17th position, and first, second and third is just piling on the points. Should they stay in the order that they are now, these boys are just going to be loading up the points. Benjamin McCliskey keeping a bird's eye view. He's not actually close enough most of the time to be able to pounce. He needs to get a bit closer to the back of Stefan Wessel, so if and when Stefan can possibly make the move on a Kieran Smart, he's got to be close enough to stick his nose in, and he's not doing that. Can he not do it, or is he playing safe? Very difficult to determine because he never goes any closer than that. I think Benji's actually playing it safe. He's thinking, you guys fight one another. I've got the pace to stay with you. It's not a train smash. I can run your speed. But maybe you guys are going to tangle, and if you guys tangle, I can go through without tangling with you as well. And I think that is what is the game plan for that man that we were riding on board with, Benji M. How far Stewart behind him? Not far. It's only 4 seconds. Now, we haven't had a look at the bronze class for quite a while. The lead in the bronze class, the Crest Autosport BMW M3 in the hands of a Nigel Stock. Now that bronze class with Nigel that leads out. Nigel, in fact, is 5th overall in the championship. David Favo, that's in there behind him, is directly behind him in the championship, but a fair smidgen of points behind him. Then you've got Mark Sykes, who's 2nd overall, and he's sort of okay where he is. And then you've got Alwyn that's leading, and that will also not really be a change-up of positions. Let's actually just bring that one up for you. You can see exactly what it looks like. Alwyn from Mark, Jordan Bibiot. So, yeah, that's the way that one plays itself out. We are 21 minutes into the hour. GT3 League Season 5, round number 5. And it's all happening up front because where Stefan Wessels was putting pressure on Kieran Smart, now it's the opposite way around. It's Benji M that's putting the pressure onto Stefan Wessels more than anything else. That battle that's going on behind that, Stuart Wyness is past Nick Clibbins. I can maybe find that one for you. I see William Guthrie's actually jumped back to the pits, and yeah, it doesn't look like he is going to be carrying on. Let's see, is he still out on track? No, I think William Guthrie, having won race number 1, is now completely out of it. Jordan Bibiot not in a good position whatsoever. Wesley Lewin finds himself a long way down, and that's not good for Wesley Lewin, because Wesley Lewin was lying 4th ahead of Nigel Stock, the man that is in fact leading the class. And what does that one look like? That is him. So he's doing a lovely job holding sway with that position. Alan McCain, gold class, is split off the front runners. The front 5 are all gold class. Then you've got 4 silver class cars, and then you've got Alan McCain that's stuck in between them. There is Alan. And the next 3 cars in front of him, that is 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in class. There you can see the 1st, 2nd, and the one in front of him, 3rd in the silver class. Jesse Williams from Jake Pitt, from Phil McDougall. Alan McCain, 10th on circuit, 6th overall in his class. Not wanting to go down to 1st gear there, rather easing the power in that 2nd gear. 23.5 minutes into the... Oops! That tail end. You could hear the tail end starting to step out there for Alan McCain, but he managed to pull that together. Gaza is on his way to... he's just passed David Favo. In fact, he passed 2 cars there. Gaza first of all made... Oopsie, Alwyn Sykes gets it back onto the track. So Gaza first made this passing maneuver, and then straight after that decided, well, let's just go another one further forward, and closes up very quickly and pops it up on the inside and takes away that position as well. So he's on the move, working his way back up. Let's see how the pit stops look so far. I'm still not going to say that I think that that is accurate because I'm not 100% sure. David Favre goes into the pits. Let's see how that one plays itself out, because all the iRacing systems are not working 100% at this stage of the fight. So let's go back to the front end of the field, and Kieran is the man to catch. This three-way high-speed train, Vessels in second, Benji in third. They have now broken completely away from Stuart Wyness. There comes Stuart, where they've just come from. Stuart has got Nick Klibbens directly in there behind him. The Sharkman, I wonder why. The first of the silver class cars directly behind that. That is Jesse Wilkins. So Jesse Wilkins having Cleveland's running it slightly wide towards the exit there. It was a little bit quick and loud on the gas after the apex of the corner. So Stuart Wyness, his only real interest right now with 25.5 minutes that's gone. I think he's realized he can't run with the front three. Kieran, Vessels, and McCliskey. I think he's realized he's not going to be able to run with them. But can he hold Nick Klibbens out? I think he fancies himself to do that. He's done some pretty quick laps up until now. Let's have a look what the last lap time was. Stuart on a 142.7. Jesse, silver class, a 142.4. Nick on a 142.6. And Nick also closed up slightly on him, but not significantly. Not a major train smash. The other fight that's out there is Jake Pitt, that is lying third in class, and he's in behind the BMW, the Mercedes-Benz, should I say, of a Phil McDougall. Oh, Phil runs it wide. I think this could be it. This could be it. Can he go for? Nope, he doesn't make it. Well, he looked like he was well set to have a look up on the inside. He's desperate to get past right now. Phil runs it once again, late on the brakes. Phil's feeling the pressure. Phil is definitely feeling that pressure right now. Looks for the outside line, is not going to work. Looks for that. Oh, there's somebody that's spun himself around there. Was that Edwin Simpson? Let's have a look. Who was that one? Was that Nick Klibbens? Yeah, it was Nick Klibbens that spun himself around. Now, the pleasures of riding a Porsche. Like they say in the classics, if it doesn't feel like your Porsche is trying to kill you, you're not driving it hard enough. So that dropped Nick Klibbens way down. Jake sitting in there behind Phil McDougall. Jesse Wilkins has broken completely away from these two. So it's getting completely mixed up at this stage of the fight. Nick Klibbens and Edwin Simpson have gone into the pits. Elwin Sykes. Edwin is on his way out of the pits as we ride on board with Jake Pitt. Third in class in there behind Phil McDougall. Stefan Vessels versus Kieran. No change. No change up whatsoever. Stefan Vessels just applying the pressure to Kieran. Trying to force him to make an error. Trying to force him to crack somehow. But Kieran can take the pressure. I've seen him both into the bits. Both of them dive into the pits. Now, what is Stuart going to do? Stuart goes in as well. What does the silver class leader do? Jesse Wilkins goes in. Well, that's showtime because here comes Phil and Jake. Alan, what does Alan do? They're all coming in. There comes Alan. There's Ben Altria. Nigel Stock says, you guys can go in. I'm going to stay out. Nigel Stock might just end up with his name right at the top. There you can see the cars that's in the pits. I think Nigel Stock, as a bronze class driver, is actually going to find himself at the front end of the pack. What does Benji M do? Benji M goes straight through as well, but already on the pit exit is a Kieran Smart, is Stefan Wessels. Through they go. So Nigel Stock, by hook, by crook, or by no pit stop, finds himself in a very good position for McDougall on his way out, and he's lying third overall in the silver. Oops, see, that was very close. But he's right in there behind Sean Skitter, who's in second place in class. And then Jesse Wilkins is the one that's leading them out. He's leading the championship and leading the class. As Sean Skitter and Phil McDougall, that's the battle that you see there as they work their way underneath the bridge. That is for second and third in class. And they've now, with the pit stops, managed to get away as well from Jake. There comes Jake. He's a little bit ahead of Edwin. The recovering Gaza is in there behind that, but it's 8 seconds further back. Let's have a look at the bronze class, boys. That'll be Wesley Lewin, probably. Yep, yeah. Wesley Lewin, 7 positions up. Leading out the bronze class is Wesley Lewin. On 116 points behind Jordan Bibiot on the championship scales. And Jordan is in fact behind him. Jordan is in 19th, 3 positions up. 8th position up is Wesley, so that's going to work quite fine for him. And then the next man in there is in fact Alwyn Sykes. Now Alwyn Sykes is the leader of the class. He's ahead of Marky Mark, and Mark finds himself 1, 2, 3 places further back. There's going to be some, oh, there Nigel Stock, well, at least Nigel Stock can say, I led for 1 lap, and I'm in a bronze class. And even if it took the big boys, the situation where they go into the pits, either way, he did lead a lap, so he'll be pretty chuffed with that one. Benjamin McCliskey is starting to close up onto the back end of Vessels as we keep an eye on that silver class battle. Now Matthew Cheverton is looking pretty decent. I think he'll be quite chuffed with that one. Alwyn Sykes putting the pressure on as best he can. Let's have a look at those last lap times again. Always nice to see what the lap times are. McCliskey's all over the back of Kieran. Now we've got to go back to that one. Oh, Benji M's on the move. They've dropped Stefan Wessels. Well, that's because of the pit stops. How quick you can get in, how quick you can get out again in total. At Benji M and Kieran, both of them ahead of Stefan Wessels. Stuart Wyness, the leader of the silver class behind him, Jesse Wilkins. Then there comes Sean Skitter. So another good one for Sean. Ahead of Phil McDougall, ahead of Jake Pitt. Also in the same class, Edwin Simpson. And then having a lovely race today. You'll be super chuffed with that, Nigel Stock. It's going to be Gaza that's going to try and get past him. So Gaza's fighting his way back. But there's a long way from Gaza to the back end of the gold class guys. He's in 5th in class, 10th out on circuit is Gaza. Let's ride on board with him and see what it looks like. Gonna go for that inside line. Nigel Stock, there's Gaza. Nigel's not interested in the fact that he's in bronze class and Gazza's in the gold class. As far as he's concerned, it's GT3, it's round 5, it's Catalunya, it's season number 5. I'm in front of you. I don't care about the class. You find a way around me. Not my problem. I stay on the racing line. A light touch on the brakes just to set it up as they go through the kink. Does he close the line off? He's pretty confident. It's maybe too confident because there's the passing maneuver that's just taken place. And, oh, 2 cars that have gone through there. So Gazza moves his way up ahead of Nigel Stock and Ben Altria. Ben Altria hasn't got much to lose by letting Gazza go through because Ben Altria finds himself quite a long way back from the rest of the silver class guys. In front of him is Jesse, Sean, Phil, Jake and Edwin. So Ben Altria in 6th position in class. Ian Manners has worked his way back up to 7th in class. Matthew Shiverton has dropped down to 8th in class. And James Smaggersgale 9th in class, 18th overall. Jesse Wilkins is, somebody must tell Jesse Wilkins that he's silver class and Stuart Wyness is actually gold class, because he's all over the back of Stuart Wyness, and Stuart's not, he can't catch the front guys. They've gone. They're 7 seconds up the road. But now he's got this little yapper snapper silver class Jesse Wilkins that's in there behind him. And he's got to be very careful that they don't tangle up and it just drops him further down. Ben Altria that was passed by Gazza. David Farvo, he had an incident. Yeah, the South Africans all seem to be having incidents. Yeah, he turned in, picked it up, and then it swapped sides and he just kept it buried. Probably 3rd gear, turns it around just in time, unloads the accelerator, feeds it in and gets it all going again. So a nice little recovery after that spin. 37 minutes that's gone already. And we've had Stefan Wessels have the off track, but I think that's just using track limits. Let's just see. Yeah, well, there was actually a bit of contact there. That's why he went off onto the infield on the inside of the corner. So that's going to have dropped him down quite a bit. McCliskey from Kieran Swart, and then Stefan Wessels has got himself back in there again. Well, Wessels has got into that 2nd position. It's Benji that's in front of them. Benjamin McCliskey making some passing maneuvers. Just feeds it up on the inside and says thank you very much, and takes that position away. Yet another car that Benji M has managed to get past. So let's have a look at the gold class from the front end down. Benjamin McCliskey, Stefan Wessels, Kieran Smart, and that after almost 40 minutes. That's all that there is in it. Then going to be coming into that straight now by the start-finish line. There's Jesse Wilkins, Stuart Wyness, 4th in class, 5th out there on circuit. Then a bit of a gap back to Sean Skitter. Phil McDougall not that far behind him. There he goes underneath the bridge as well. Jake Pitt just behind him. Edwin Simpson. Gazza, the gold class, coming through there. Ben Altria, Nigel Stock. Ian Manners, silver class. The recovering Nick Clibbins. Once again, having an off, and Nick Clibbins right there in it and then drops off. Next race, turn it around, goes to the front of the pack, right there in it, and for some other reason drops off. So Maybe in the Sharkman, Nick's just got to back it off for just a little bit on the pace, just to make it a little bit more consistent, because he has brilliant races, but it's not always the consistency that you need to be able to win out in a overall championship. And for that reason, Nick Clibbons finds himself in the situation where he's behind Benji M, Stefan Wessels and Kieran Smart, and that by a notable difference. Remember, Gaza didn't ride the first meeting of the season, so this being round number 5, he's driven 4 of the 5 races, but because Nick didn't have good results all the way through, he's actually equaled him 99 points apiece going into this event. So that's where the difference comes in there. Matthew Cheverton won't be too chuffed with this one either. Matthew Cheverton's just a little bit further back. There's Matthew. And Matthew in the silver class, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's 18 class, is Matthew Cheverton. And that's not good for him, because in that silver class, Matthew Cheverton is second overall. So Jake is the man that's going to take the biggest bite out of it, because Jake is on 91 and Matthew on 130. He'll take a nice chunk out of the gap between the two of them at this stage of the fight. Wesley Lewin, I think he'll be okay with that one. Wesley Lewin, there's not that many cars in front of him. It's just Nigel Stock that's ahead of Wesley Lewin, and then he's got Alwyn Sykes and Smaggers Gale and Marky Mark and Jordan Bibiot and David Favre, all of them behind him. So for Matthew, it's all right. It's not too bad. Let's go have a look at that front end of the silver class. Jesse Wilkins, the leading Audi out there, 4th overall. Just a 10th on the last lap slower than Kieran Smart. A half a second slower than Stefan Wessels. And 16th slower than Benjamin McCliskey, that has gone to the front. Let's have a look at that Jordan Bibiot crash in the Alpine Ferrari from France. Yeah, a lot of people have that kind of sort of, oh, bang, into the wall he goes. Got to reverse it back out of there. Now it's very difficult to see who's still coming up behind you. Oopsie, just a clip of the wall. And he is back out on circuit again. Ian Manners in there behind Nigel Stock, a silver class on a bronze class. That's the closest battle that we see right now. Nick Clibbons 12 positions down. Biggest winners and losers, 11 positions up for Sean Skitter and Nigel Stock. Silver class and bronze class, they are the two big hitters for tonight's 1 hour race in their classes respectively. Ian Manners all over the back. Nigel runs it wide, but I don't think it's going to make a difference, although it's a left-hander and another left-hander, and there they change those positions. Nick Clibbons 12 positions down behind Nigel, trying to make up something, but at the end of the day, for Nick in terms of class, remember he's got to get past B class Nigel, silver class Ian, silver class Ben, and only then does he get to the back end of Gaza, and that's like 8, 9, 10 seconds that he's got to catch up. There's no ways you're going to catch up that much unless there's an error that is made by the next man up front, Gaza, and Gaza doesn't make mistakes very easy, and when he does make mistakes, he makes up for it on pure pace. Talking about pure pace, how did they do on the last lap? How's old Gaza doing out there? 142.2, exactly the same as Benjamin that leads out, but Stefan Wessels is a little bit quicker. He's on a 142.0. Kieran Smart slowly but surely taking another 3/10 out of Jesse Wilkins. Stuart Wyness on a pretty decent time, and there Clibbins goes through on Nigel Stock, a gold class pass on a bronze class. So if you're in the bronze class and you get passed by a gold class guy, it's not all bad. Let's be serious. 3/4 of the way in just 15 seconds from now. In the gold class, Benjamin McCliskey. There comes his nearest rival, Stefan Wessels. There comes Kieran, 3 seconds further back. Actually try and pick up a slightly longer shot for you, but we can pick them up in the same camera shot. There comes Jesse. He'll be pretty proud to have so many of the gold class guys behind him, like Stuart Wyness, Sean second in class, Phil McDougall third in class, Jake Pitt fourth in class, Edwin Simpson still hasn't given up, right there behind him. Then another gold class car, Gaza on the recovery, Ben Altria, and he stays ahead of Ian Manners. So the leading bronze class man remains, in fact, Nigel Stock. He's got 13 seconds on a silver class car. Then another 2 back to Wesley Lewin. So that means that Nigel Stock is actually in a master class of his own, because for those gaps, that means he's got 15 seconds on second place in class. He's got then just over 20 seconds from third place in class. Now that's kind of massive. So Nigel Stock, I think he'll be going into Friday morning with a smile on his face saying, I've had a good time so far. I'm quite happy with this one. I don't have a hassle with that. Let's have a look at the I ratings of some of these guys. That's not going to give us what we want. That's let's go rather license details. There we go. Look at that. All those Class A races that's up front. Looks like just about everybody's dropped down on their safety racing pretty heavily. And William Guthrie, that's out. He's got the highest safety rating, 4.2. He's the highest of everybody. And, well, it just shows you how things turn around very, very quickly for you. You never know what's going to happen. And it looks like Edward Simpson is going to have yet another go on Jake Pitt. That is for that 5th position in the silver class. Oh, the BMW started to wag the tail end there. So what is the favorite that these guys go for in terms of cars? Porsches. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 6th, 8th, 10th. 12th, 13th, and then, yeah, that's not bad. The Porsche is definitely the one to be on. Jesse Wilkins, the man that leads his class on the track and leads his class on the scoreboard. He's the fastest of the Audis out there. The second of the Audis, also in the silver class, is Ben Altria. And then you've got James Smagersgale and then Ulati a little bit further down. Leading BMW, and he loves that BM of his, Stuart Wyness. And then Edwin Simpson is the next one in a BMW. And keep in mind that that's a silver class entry as opposed to a gold class entry. Then the next one is in the bronze class, which is Nigel Stock, and then also Matthew Cheverton as well in the BMW. McDougall, one of two, himself and Alan McCain, that chose the Mercedes-Benz, the AMG M3 version of the Mercedes-Benz. He made that decision at the beginning of the season, and I think he's maybe ruining that decision, because clearly the Mercedes-Benz doesn't seem to be the car of choice. The Porsche is the general car of choice, but Jesse and Stewart showing that you can take an Audi or a BMW and stick it into the fray as well. It's not a total train smash. On the dot, 10 minutes to go. Let's go through the front runners. It's Benjamin McCliskey. It's Stefan Wessels. Not even in the same camera shot now is Kieran. Also not in the same camera shot is Jesse Wilkins. Also not in the same camera shot is Stuart Wyness. Same scenario with Sean Skitter, second in class, 6th overall. Just as big a gap with him back to Phil McDougall. And Phil McDougall is the man that's got a little bit of company. And that little bit is actually quite a lot. It's Jake and then Edward Simpson. That could be a pretty decent battle to watch between the two of them. They are in fact the two cars closest to one another out of everybody out there on circuit. Edwin Simpson on the back end of Jake Pitt. Just under half a second between the two of them. You think, so close, how can it be half a second between the two of them? Well, if you look at the pace that they're running, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, that's how quick these cars actually accelerate. Massive amounts of acceleration. Watch this now, going down the hill, 120, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 200. Just like that, from 120 to 200 kilometers an hour as he went down the hill, riding on board with the 5th place man in the silver class. 4th gear, 190, 200, up to 220. So he went up 35 kilometers an hour before, in that gear, before he went to the next gear. That just shows you the long rev range that the BMW M3 format has got, that wide range of power supply coming through that last corner. Uses as much of the track as what he needs, does Edwin Simpson, but he doesn't close on the back of a Jake Pitt. That's the man that's directly in front of us. You'll see that totem pole on the right hand side as you go down the straight. Remember I spoke about iRacing have made so many changes and brought in rain and a lot of new cars as well. And one of the things that doesn't work, we've noticed that just by the by with that specific camera shot, that the tower is not working on the front main on this lovely circuit that we are on. And yeah, that's just one of the things that still need to be sorted out, because there's just so many changes. Gazza trying to make up that additional position. Gazza closes right up onto the back of Edwin. Gold class versus silver class. Now with 6.5 minutes to go, if Gazza's going to make any kind of impact, he's got to go through 4 silver class cars. Edwin in 4th, Jake in 3rd, Phil in 2nd, and Sean in 1st. So only then does, oopsie, oh, he caught it. Edwin caught it, and that brings Gazza right onto his back bumper, so that is lays himself wide open to that pressure as they work their way out into the front rain. I think Edwin's probably going to go for that move now. Can't get any closer than that. Dives out towards the inside line. And looks like Gezza's going to make that one. Yep, he makes that one. So he passes the silver class car, does Gezza. But now he's still got the big boys in front of him, Sean, Phil, and Jake, for him to go any further. So in a way, he should sort of kind of stay where he is, because he's then going to get himself mixed up in the leaders of the silver class battle. And if something goes wrong, it's not going to be nice for those guys that they lying first, second, third in class, and then there's no ways, unfortunately, that you can avoid an incident as such. So massive big thanks to all of our sponsors, and we really appreciate these guys putting their money where their mouth is and making this all happen for us. Let's go back to the front end of the field. Benjamin McCliskey, the man with a 4.99 A rating. Benjamin McCliskey holding off the man that is omnipotent in this series, Stefan Wessels. The two of them have now driven away from Kieran Smart completely. They've got 9 seconds. Well, make that 10 on Kieran. The leader of the pack in the silver class, Jesse Wilkins. I wouldn't exactly call that the nicest sticker job that I've ever seen. But then again, I suppose every man to his own. Some people like that split decor design, one color on the one side, the other color on the other side. Jesse Wilkins has got the gold class Stuart Wyness, that's 4th overall and 5th out on circuit, between himself and that man Sean Skitter. Sean's taking out massive points out of today's racing, big gains for this man Sean Skitter, and it went also wrong for him the previous week. Sean Skitter 8 seconds, not even in 2 camera shots further back do we find a Phil McDougall. Big open ground in front of a Phil McDougall. With just 3 more minutes to go. Where's our bronze class leader? Must still be, yep, yeah, Nigel Stock. Nigel Stock has done it all right. Oopsie, that was almost a problem. Works his way past Ben Altria. Staying way away from Ben Altria, just to make sure that there's no problems. It is a silver class as opposed to a bronze class entry. The Crest Autosport, Nigel Stock, leading out the bronze class. From that man, Wesley Lewin. And then a long way back, almost 8 seconds, Alwyn Sykes. 14 seconds further back and behind James Magersgale as well is Marky Mark. Second of the 4 Ferraris that are out there. Alwyn, Mark, David and Jordan are the guys that have chosen the same car. They're all in the bronze class. I personally would have gone for the Ferrari as well, to be very honest with you, because it's a car that when it gets away from you, you can catch it pretty easily, and you can stay out there on the track. Gazza trying to get past Jake Pitt, can't afford to get himself tied into that fight too big at this stage of the fight. Remember, the overall points is one thing, but the class points is another. And even Gazza does get past him, it's not going to make a difference, because the gold class guys have up, dusted and disappears. Benji M, Stefan Wessels, Kieran Smart, they right at the front end of the field. And we're going to have to go and join up. Remember this guy? Benji McCliskey. Benji signs. He's the man that leads them out. And he must be on his last lap now. Look where he is. You'll see the one with a green around it. So let's ride on board with the head-on show of round number 5 of this Next Gen Racing Round 5, Season 5 GT3 from Catalunya. Benjamin McCluskey. He can't go too passive, because that problem's caused Stefan Wessels. But he's managed to stay ahead of him right up until now. Benji's not going to make an error now. Stefan almost a second behind him. Benji M crossing the T's and dotting the I's. Oh, holding that second gear for quite a long time. This corner he's on now is actually a horrible corner. It closes up on you towards the end just a little bit, and it just tends to spit you out towards the curbing on the outside. And here he comes. Benjamin McCluskey will take the win from Stefan Wessels. Kieran Smart will be the next man to come through. There goes Kieran. He's got a pretty good haul of points for the day. Winning the silver class, 4th overall, Jesse Wilkins. 4th in class, Stuart Wyness. 5th overall, out on circuit, 12 seconds further back, Stuart Wyness. Still 4th in class, so he'll be happy. 2nd in class, Sean Skitter. A good haul for Sean Skitter. Phil McDougall, a good haul for the day. Jake Pitt, a good haul for the day. Gaza, not where he wants to be whatsoever. Edwin Simpson and Ian Manners all in the silver class. Nick Clibbins, not a good one for Nick either. Ben Altria, the winner of Class B, Nigel Stock. He rips that lever and smashes the flashing lights as he says, I got it. Nigel Stock, brilliant drive by Nigel. Wins out the bronze class. He's even got Matthew Cheverton behind him. He's got Wesley Lewin in that 2nd position. Alwyn Sykes is going to take 3rd in the class. The man that was previously leading the grouping. That's Alwyn Sykes. And then here comes Marky Mark. He likes these blue colors. Mark Sykes coming through. And he's the last man to come across the line, because James Magasgale was a lap down with the 3rd of the Audis out there. And that brings it to a close. Sure, 1 hour of racing. Mark says, I'll flash the lights for you anyway. It's not a problem. I'll give it to you. Benjamin McCluskey from Stefan Wessels, Kieran Smart, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the silver class. Jesse Wilkins from Sean Skitter and Phil McDougall, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the silver class. And then in the bronze class, it's Nigel Stock from Wesley Lewin and Alwyn Sykes, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the class. So that pretty much wraps it up for this evening. And, well, what can I say? GT3 Season 5, round number 5 has been brilliant. It's been really, really good. And I've really, really enjoyed it. And a big, big thanks to all of our sponsors. As we come to the end of tonight, Joyce Designs, Higgins Automotive, Sam Cases, Motorsport UK Esports, your recommended community. And then don't forget about our other guys out there, and that is Next Gen IMB Raceway, alongside Douglas Motorsport as well. Folks, that's going to wrap it up for this evening. A big, big thanks to you, one and all, for joining us. It's been an honor and a pleasure to be here with you. I look forward to seeing you guys next week as we go to the next round of the Protos. That's going to be interesting. It always is interesting. From my side, Gary Fleming, Second Gear Productions. It's been great to be here with you. Cheers, everybody.